Early morning in Chicago's Wilmette district. A Tesla Model Y glides silently down a tree-lined street where autumn leaves have begun to turn. Behind the wheel is Elizabeth Miller, a real estate agent dressed in a Navy J. Crew pantsuit, ready to start another long day. "Josh, don't forget your lunch," she calls to her 8-year-old son, absorbed in his handheld game in the back seat. Josh holds up his blue lunchbox with a beaming smile. "Don't worry. I can't wait for your homemade sandwich, Mom. It's peanut butter and jelly today. And I'll pick up a hot dog from Portillo's for your snack later." Josh's eyes light up at the mention of Chicago's famous fast food restaurant. He always gets excited when they talk about local favorites. At the gates of St. Francis Xavier School, Josh bounds out energetically. "Dad's coming to watch my baseball practice after school." Elizabeth smiles warmly at his words. Though Michael keeps busy as an executive at a construction company, he never misses his son's baseball games. He's the kind of wonderful father who adjusts even important meetings at Walsh Construction to prioritize his son. Despite working late the night before, Michael had joined the family for breakfast that morning, warming up leftover Chicago deep dish pizza and listening intently to Josh's baseball stories. "Here's hoping I find some wonderful properties today," Elizabeth whispers a small prayer while watching Josh walk away. Her work at Coldwell Banker Realty is her pride and joy. As she programs her car's navigation system, she checks her first showing appointment. A luxury condominium overlooking Lake Michigan. This area could lead to another big deal. In the quiet residential area of Wilmette, Patricia Miller tends to her roses in front of her white colonial-style house. Wearing a Talbot's tweed jacket and premium gardening gloves from Nordstrom, her movements betray a certain nervousness. A former pharmacist, she had thrown herself into this hobby after losing her husband. Though renowned in the local garden club for her skill, she'd recently stopped attending meetings. An old photograph remains stuck to the Sub-Zero refrigerator. The smiling faces of young Michael and his late father still watch over her, unchanged. "Michael, that woman isn't worthy of you." The pruning shears roughly cut through a rose stem. 8 years since Michael married Elizabeth. Patricia's heart remains filled with twisted obsession, still unable to accept her son's choice. Sunday brunch. Once a precious family gathering time. Now reduced to monthly formalities. Still, the happy demeanor of her son and daughter-in-law catches her eye. Especially the gentle way Michael looks at Elizabeth, it pierces her heart deeply. Her son's resemblance to his late father. Recently, Patricia noticed a photo posted on Facebook by a young female employee from Michael's company. A casual lunch scene at the Cheesecake Factory. The male figure partially visible at the edge of the photo was unmistakably. "I'm sure she's having an affair." Groundless suspicions eat away at Patricia's mind. Her criticism of Elizabeth evolved from work and parenting methods to outright character assassination. Elizabeth chatting with a young male customer at Whole Foods. Her more carefully applied makeup when leaving the yoga studio. In Patricia's delusions, everything connects. "I must do something to protect Michael." Christmas decorations are going up in the streets. And strange light lurks in Patricia's eyes. Her years of experience as a senior pharmacist at Walgreens. Her knowledge of medications and remaining industry connections. All of it was about to be repurposed. Patricia disappeared into the house. Above the living room fireplace, photos of Michael and Josh smile brightly. Next to them, only Elizabeth's photo lies face down. On a Saturday afternoon, cold winds from Lake Michigan rustled the autumn leaves on the street trees. "Josh, we're at Grandma's house," Elizabeth announces as she parks the Tesla, receiving an energetic response from the back seat. "Yay! I love Grandma's cookies." Mother and son exit the car in front of Patricia's house. A weekend sleepover, arranged at Josh's request. Though something nagged at Elizabeth's mind, she suppressed the feeling, remembering Michael's words, "Mom gets lonely." "Elizabeth, I'm so glad you came." Patricia's smile as she opens the door lacks its usual sharpness. Instead, it seems almost kind. The aroma of freshly baked cookies wafts through the entryway. "Josh, Grandma made these with a special recipe." The living room table displays beautifully arranged chocolate chip cookies. Beside them, fresh fruit from Whole Foods and a pot of chamomile tea. "Please stay and rest until tomorrow morning. I'll take care of Josh." Elizabeth nods slightly at Patricia's words. She strokes her son's head, promising, "I'll come pick you up tomorrow morning." Josh has already reached for a cookie. "Mom, these are so good." That night, Josh sleeps deeply in the guest room upstairs. Downstairs in the living room, Patricia sips from a glass while staring at the fireplace flames. Scattered across the coffee table are numerous photos of Elizabeth, shopping, working, playing with her son. All secretly taken by Patricia over time. The next morning, as Elizabeth prepares breakfast, she hears a noise from upstairs. Then, her son's cry rings out. "Mom! My head, it hurts." Elizabeth rushes up the stairs. Through the open guest room door, Josh lies on the floor. His face is pale, clutching his head with both hands. "Josh! What's wrong?" "Mom, help me, it hurts so much." Her son's body trembles violently. His pupils are abnormally dilated. Elizabeth immediately took Josh to the hospital. After the examination, the doctor explained with a grave expression. "These are symptoms of dangerous drug poisoning." Elizabeth's blood runs cold. "Please contact the police immediately." The doctor's words rang like cold iron. By the time Michael rushed to the hospital, the police had already been notified. "Mother did this." Michael's voice trembled. When they visited Patricia's house with the police, it was already empty. In the living room, piles of scattered photographs. Among them, evidence of constant surveillance of Elizabeth. And a notebook filled with words of hatred. On the carpet before the fireplace, a still warm coffee cup remained. The drug test results are in. The report handed over by the police officer listed specialized pharmaceuticals only available through Walgreens. Michael picked up the notebook. The dates went back several months. The obsession with Elizabeth had been going on for a long time. From the ashes in the room's fireplace, they find a single photograph, Elizabeth and Michael's wedding picture. At Chicago Police Headquarters, detectives gathered new evidence. Patricia Miller, 65. Former senior pharmacist at Walgreens. The suspect's photo is pinned to the whiteboard, surrounded by related information. Detective Tom Riley, with 20 years of experience, had never seen such a calculated domestic crime. A young detective's report listed shocking discoveries. Chemicals found in the basement. Many contained dangerous ingredients not handled by ordinary pharmacies. We also found records of transactions on the dark web. Patricia's computer contained traces of encrypted transactions. She had used her pharmacist knowledge to obtain drugs through illegal channels. In a hospital room, Elizabeth listened to the doctor's explanation. These drugs, when taken in large doses at once, cause severe symptoms. However, when administered in small amounts continuously, the doctor's words send chills down Elizabeth's spine. They accumulate in the body gradually, suddenly manifesting as symptoms at a certain point. So not just today's cookies, but all the homemade treats Patricia had been making. Josh woke up. Though still groggy from the drug's effects, he was out of danger. Josh, thank goodness. As Elizabeth hugs her son, Michael leans against the wall, staring into space. The police forensics team analyzed data recovered from Patricia's computer. The screen displayed extensive files recording Elizabeth's daily life. Work schedules, shopping records, meetings with friends. Everything meticulously documented. It's like a stalker's records. And it went beyond mere surveillance. Obsessive investigation trying to prove Elizabeth's infidelity. Yet no such evidence was ever found. It was all delusion, wasn't it? A young female detective murmured. Indeed, the photos Patricia believed proved infidelity were merely coincidental, unrelated encounters. The notebook found in the living room contained twisted affection. I must make that woman who stole my son pay. But if I hurt her directly, Michael won't forgive me. So I'll use the child. Use my grandson to hurt that woman. Make her watch as she hurts her beloved son. Hatred for Elizabeth and abnormal obsession with her son. The pages were filled with a plan born between these extremes. At dusk, police received a tip. We've spotted someone resembling Patricia Miller. The location, Green Bay, Wisconsin. She had been hiding in an acquaintance's vacation home. Upon arrest, Patricia was surprisingly calm. I did nothing wrong. I was just trying to protect my son. But in her eyes lurked madness, already disconnected from reality. In the police station interrogation room, Patricia began speaking matter-of-factly. Elizabeth just pretends to be perfect. I know. Her pretense of being dedicated to work, acting like a mother, it's all an act. She must have seduced my precious Michael. The detectives methodically record her statement. The content was a twisted tale where delusion and reality intertwined. Every Sunday at brunch, she wears that knowing smile. Surely after meeting someone. I know everything. That's why. Next door to the interrogation room, Michael watched on the monitor. No trace remained of his former mother. Based on the statements so far, the planned drug administration is clear. Michael nodded silently at the detective's words. And more seriously, Patricia's notebook contained plans for after this incident. Multiple conspiracies to corner Elizabeth. If found fully competent, she faces at least 15 years in prison. Michael's expression contorts in pain. Elizabeth enters the room. Elizabeth places a hand on her husband's shoulder. Without exchanging words, they watch the old woman's image on the monitor. When Elizabeth and Michael return to the hospital room, Josh is already asleep. Why didn't I notice? Michael's voice is filled with self-reproach. No one could have known. Patricia carefully hid everything. It's not your fault. Elizabeth grips her husband's hand tightly. In the pediatric ward of Chicago Memorial Hospital, colorful decorations line the hallways in anticipation of Christmas. Josh continues his physical therapy today. Working carefully with a young therapist on walking exercises to regain his balance, temporarily lost to the drug's effects. Well done. The boy smiles slightly at therapist Sarah's encouragement. A different expression from his once cheerful smile, somehow shadowed. Still, he walks steadily on the path to recovery, step by step. By the window in the hospital room, Elizabeth watches her son. She hasn't left the hospital once in these 2 weeks. Her supervisor at Coldwell Banker Realty granted her unlimited leave. Please take time with your family for now. Tears well in Elizabeth's eyes whenever she encounters such kindness. Michael's condition worsened day by day. In his office at Walsh Construction, he stares vacantly out the window. Untouched piles of documents on his desk. Unread messages from clients accumulate on his phone. Why didn't I notice? How many times has he repeated these words? Childhood memories suddenly return. Days at the zoo with his mother on holidays. The taste of chicken soup she made when he had a fever. The moment they celebrated his college acceptance. And her cold expression the day he announced his marriage. Everything began to go wrong from that moment. The door to the conference room is knocked, and Secretary Janet appears. Mr. Miller, the police are calling. After his mother's arrest, new evidence kept emerging. Records of Elizabeth's surveillance dated back to before the wedding. For years, his mother had been monitoring her son's life. Looking for evidence of an affair. Michael chokes back a sob at the detective's report. All suspicions of his wife were products of his mother's delusions. The man in the social media photo was a client's technician. The person she was talking to was just a real estate customer. Why, Mother? Michael repeats the unanswerable question. Evening in the hospital room. Elizabeth helps her son prepare for bed. Mom, will Grandma never come back? The innocent question grips her heart. Josh, Grandma is taking a break for a while. Because I was bad? No. Elizabeth hugs her son tightly. Warm tears roll down her cheeks. Josh did nothing wrong. It's no one's fault. The small body trembles in his mother's arms. Just then, the hospital room door opens and Michael returns. In his hands, a bag from Portillo's hot dogs, Josh's favorite. For the first time in a while, Josh's expression brightens. As the three share the meal, Michael shares his decision. The trial starts next week. I'll have my final meeting with Mother. Elizabeth takes her husband's hand. I'll go with you. Cook County Courthouse. Patricia Miller appears in the solemn courtroom. Dressed in an orange prison uniform, she bears no resemblance to the former dignified pharmacist. A heavy atmosphere hangs over the courtroom. The prosecution presents extensive evidence. Drug procurement routes, administration records, surveillance evidence. And notebooks filled with twisted hatred for Elizabeth. The defense argues Patricia's mental state. But expert diagnosis is clear. The defendant is found fully competent. Michael takes the witness stand. Taking a deep breath, he looks at his mother. Mother, you are no longer my mother. The courtroom falls silent. You are a criminal who endangered my wife and son. Never appear before us again. Patricia's expression contorts. Michael. I was just trying to protect you from that woman. The courtroom erupts in chaos. The judge's gavel rings out. Patricia continues shouting hysterically. I was right. That woman stole you. My precious son. She continues spewing mad words while restrained by guards. Her figure no longer that of a proud upper-class mother, but a pathetic old woman possessed by twisted obsession. Leaving the courtroom, Michael didn't speak a word. Elizabeth supported her husband's arm as they walked with heavy steps. A week after moving. No one can find us here. Elizabeth murmurs, sitting on their new sofa. A quiet residential area away from Lake Michigan. A new place to start everything fresh. Michael nodded silently. In the study, documents to legally sever ties with his birth mother awaited his signature. Dad, the park here is huge. Josh, gradually adjusting to the new environment. His voice brings small smiles to his parents' faces. Outside the window, heavy snow dances. White crystals gently cover the scars of the past. A new family photo adorns the table. A small but certain bond of just the three of them. We'll always be together. Michael nods quietly at Elizabeth's words. Pure white snow continues to fall like new life. 1 year later, spring. Morning begins at the Miller home in Chicago's new suburbs. Josh, looking forward to today's game. Elizabeth calls out while ironing her son's baseball uniform. The effects of the drug incident completely gone, Josh has returned to being his former energetic self. His performance in Little League is remarkable, expected to be the team's ace pitcher. The family of three always attends weekend games together. That's become an important promise in their new life. Elizabeth, I made coffee. Michael offers a Starbucks mug. The change in her husband, no longer solely focused on work but treasuring family time, is obvious to everyone. In the women's wing of Cook County Jail, under cold fluorescent lights in the visiting room, Patricia Miller stares into space alone. 1 year has passed since her 15-year prison sentence. Yet her heart shows no sign of remorse. She continues spewing hatred for Elizabeth Daly. "I've checked the visitor list." Patricia briefly turns hopeful eyes at the guard's words. But her son's name isn't there. Michael has never requested a visit. An old photograph hangs on her cell wall. Young Michael's smiling face. Now her only comfort. If only that woman hadn't. Other inmates call the old woman who repeats the same words daily, the demon who hurt her own family, completely isolating her. No care packages, just one old photo of her son among her possessions. She stares at the photo daily, muttering, "If only that woman hadn't," but gradually even her son's face in the photo fades from memory. One day, a guard brings an envelope. "A letter from your son." For a moment, Patricia's eyes light up. However, upon opening it, she finds only legal notification of familial severance. Days of realizing how her madness destroyed everything, in complete solitude. This is Patricia Miller's new reality. One Sunday. "Where should we go today?" Josh energetically answers Michael's question. "The Shed Aquarium." Sunday family outings have become a new tradition. Not just formal brunches like before, but real quality family time. Elizabeth brings breakfast from the kitchen, made with fresh ingredients from Whole Foods. 3 place settings warmly arranged on the table. "Let's eat." Their voices blend together. Outside the window, spring sunlight illuminates fresh greenery. Michael's phone rings. Though it's about an important Walsh construction project, he immediately declines the call. Sundays are family days. Elizabeth smiles gently at those words. The events from a year ago certainly left deep scars. However, they also serve to strengthen family bonds. Elizabeth's reputation at Coldwell Banker Realty has actually improved. Her strength in overcoming crisis has increased client trust. Michael has reassessed his work-life balance. He always spends weekends with family and tries to return home early on weekdays. This new lifestyle has become established. Josh has made new friends through baseball. The drug effects completely gone, his grades gradually recovering. His teacher evaluates him as a bright and positive student. At dusk, Elizabeth tends to her newly started garden in the Miller family yard. Not roses, but cheerful marigolds and daisies color the garden. "Mom, I'll help." Josh runs over. Behind him, Michael begins preparing the barbecue grill. A peaceful weekend evening in their new home. It's a sure time that gradually heals the dark shadows of the past. "Dad, are the hamburgers ready?" "Almost." "Josh, go ahead and choose your toppings." Casual conversation between father and son. Mother's gentle smile. It's a genuine family scene, irreplaceable by anything. That night in the living room, after Josh went to bed, Elizabeth and Michael quietly shared wine while discussing the future. A new project starts next month. That's great, do your best. I'll support you completely. No shadow of doubt remains between them. Their resolve to trust and support each other has grown stronger through trials. Outside the window, spring stars twinkle. A new season's breeze blows gently through. It marks the beginning of a new chapter for the Miller family. A definite step forward, healing past wounds and walking toward the future.